What's up, what's up, what's up? We have an impromptu live stream. Let me know if you're here. Let me know if you're present, okay? Let me know if you're present. While you guys are doing that in the chat, I'm downloading the latest stuff. This is all happening hot off the press. So I'm gonna spin up a sandbox site. Let's see, blank website. Oh, we can do the EDD Live site that we used for last week or this week or previous week. My head is spinning. It's all over the place. There's too many things going on. It's 2026. Okay, plugins. Just gonna updates. So I'm gonna do the updates. And then we're gonna get into it. Dominic says, let's freaking go. We got an LFG from Sedina. We got DeHunzi in the house. Odin is present. Okay. I like the energy. I like the energy in the chat. We got about 60 people on an impromptu live stream so far. We just got our first thumbs down. That's how you know we're rocking and rolling. The trolls are salty lately. They cannot handle the amount of winning that's happening around here. It's causing them psychological distress. What am I trying to upload here? Automatic CSS Alpha 7. I mean, there's two major, I don't need this. There's two major products coming together at the same exact time. ACSS 4.0, Etch 1.0. And you're about to see a little bit of a marriage between these two products today. A little bit of a tighter union, if you will. Let's go to Etch. Let's go update the Etch plugin. So I'm now on 4.0 Alpha 7, and I am going to update to Etch 1.0 Beta 13. And we're gonna do a walkthrough. We're gonna do Q&A. We're gonna do demos. We're gonna do whatever you guys wanna do. Let's see, launch Etch. Let's make sure that everything is functional and works. Okay. Great. Let's go to content. What do we have? Oh, okay, yeah, that's good. We don't need any of this. Let's just X that out. Let's see. Test. And boom. Looks like we have all our options. Looks like we're ready to rock and roll, my friends. Okay. Yeah. Alpha 7 is out, I believe. Let me check the community. Let me check. Let me double check. I think Mateo did the release. I saw it in Git. I saw it come through. He might not have made the official announcement. Oh, he did. Yeah, 2 hours ago. 2 hours ago. Alpha 7 is out. Okay. Guys, you got to read the changelog, okay, on an alpha. Already first comment is, hey, something, my footer got default padding. Yeah, that was in the changelog. Just got to read the changelog. Okay, it's no problem. Got to read these changelogs. So if you listen to me. Let's just be honest together right here. Okay. By the way, I was gonna do this stream earlier. I went out with my wife. We do this like once, twice a week. Today we went out a little earlier than normal. Get a little lunch. You know, get a massage. Do something here. Do something there. Feeling nice and relaxed though. I gotta be honest with you. Feeling nice and relaxed. So let's just talk, right? You're kind of outing yourself. If you're on an alpha product and you just hit the update button and you don't read the changelog, like it's kind of, you live in life on the edge, my friend, and you're kind of outing yourself as doing that, right? Like, you know, you gotta, if you're on an alpha, you need to, I wouldn't be so quick to hit the update button. You know, you should be reading the changelog a little bit. So I know, I understand people have a lot of trust and faith in us, but like this is not even a bug or an issue. It's literally said in the changelog, like this is going to happen when you update. And people are like, I updated and it's like, man, wow. Okay. You got to read a changelog every now and then. Okay. Some of y'all are crazy. Some of y'all living on the edge, too close to the edge. Okay. Let me go ahead and let's share screen here. So this is 4.0 Alpha 7's announcement right here. Let's clean up our branches here, our tabs. Let's get out of here. We don't need to be in here or here or here or here or here or any of these places. Okay, we are going to go to etchwp.com and we're going to go to 1.0 beta 13 and we're going to start working our way down the list here. Okay, we got to show you some things and we're going to go to, we'll probably walk through a couple of the previous releases too, just to make sure everybody's up to speed on stuff. You know, I do know and I do empathize with you that you're not sitting around just studying change logs and studying new features and studying, like, you're trying to do work. You're trying to get your work done. You're trying to cash some checks. You're trying to live your life. You're trying to go on date day, you know, with your significant others. So they just got home, by the way. We just got one of the kids is home. So they're a little rambunctious after school, if you hear anything. So, you know, I do empathize with that. And I think these walkthroughs are important for us to go look at what is new and how you might want to use it. And I actually just built a component about 18 seconds ago that solves a problem that I thought we might have to do internally with an official component that turns out I just don't think we're going to have to do it as an official component. It's just copy and paste the one I built and move on with your life. We're going to look at that in just a second. Okay, so let's start with beta 13. Let's work our way backwards. But we have a new overhaul. Well, it says overhauled, okay, but it was initially put in as a proof of concept, a very loose proof of concept. We'll just say a greatly reimagined and improved Command K menu. Now, let me check chat here. Let's see. Yeah, exactly. You're kind of admitting you're not using staging. You're not reading change logs. You know, don't out yourself like this. Don't out yourself, okay? All right. We can all still pretend to be professionals until posts like that show up. All right, so let's talk about Command K. Let's talk about, I'm already sharing my screen. This is fantastic, okay. Sometimes I get PTSD that I'm not actually sharing my screen. So I initially was not, I'll tell you how all this came to fruition. And we got to give big props to Jeremy from our team for this. Of course, Waji put in the initial proof of concept many, like over a year ago. There was literally, listen to this. How many times have you seen a Command K bar in Etch in my videos? 0 times. 0 times. It's been there since, like, I want to say week 6. Like week 6, okay, of development. There's been a Command K bar there. Because initially we were like, you know, probably that'll be a thing. It'll be, but then it was like, I'm not sure how it's going to fit all in until we get everything else going, you know, and how useful it's actually going to be. There are Command K bars in other applications. Sometimes I find them useful. Sometimes I find them to be completely just not of interest. Okay. I wasn't sold on, like, because my whole philosophy was like, let's just design an interface that is lightning fast, right? It's just so easy to get to everything and so fast to get to everything that there's no hurdles or obstacles. You just feel like you don't quite need a Command K bar. You know, like, can we just do that? And I think we've done that to a large degree. And still, we get to this point, and I'm still not like dying for a Command K bar. I'm not like, God, I really wish we just had a Command K bar, you know? By the way, let's see if it works. It does work. Okay, we'll look at it in just a second. So Jeremy pings me the first week back in January, and he's like, hey, I've been cooking up something over the holiday break. And, you know, it's a Command K bar. And I was like, you know, I'm not sold on it. I don't know. We'll look at it. We'll look at it together. So we got on a call. We're going through it, and I'm like, you know, you hit Command K, or really, as you're going to see with this particular bar, Command I or Command M. Okay, there's a couple of them. We'll look at why there's differences. Okay, and I'm like, yeah, that looks like a Command K bar. But then we start exploring what you might be able to do with it, and we also start exploring some additional pathways, some things that need to be in Etch that aren't in Etch yet. For example, we had plans for, let me zoom in down here for you. This obviously is an element bar. You are all familiar with it. It is the basics. It is the building blocks of most sites. And even in Page Building 101, I've mentioned that, hey, you need a button. It's so easy to change the tag to a button. Hey, you need a list, right click, convert to list. Hey, you need a block quote. It's not that hard to whip up a block quote. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, that's not to say that it wouldn't be nice to have a button you could just click and those things appear, you know? But what do you do with them? Guys, what do you do with them? Because if you stuff this whole thing full of icons down here, again, we're going to be in an interface. You don't want the interface to look like a 747 cockpit. You don't want to live in the land of 1,000 icons and 1,000 switches. This is where overwhelm happens. This is where clutter happens. It's not an enjoyable experience anymore at that point. There's too much shit going on. There's too many icons, too many panels, too many this, too many that. Stop it. I don't like it anymore. I'm too bogged down. I'm too slow. I'm too annoyed. Okay. You're in my way now, right? We got to keep it clean. We got to keep it clean. Well, Command K kind of gives you a pathway to accessing all of those kinds of things without having to show them everywhere. You know what I'm saying? It's like this backdoor approach to getting some of this stuff on the page. That's number one. Number two, you guys know one of the big limitations currently, yes, we can bring up this and insert our saved components, which is very nice. You know, if I need a profile card, there's my profile card. There you go. And I whip it up and I got props over here, which by the way, we now have an independent prop panel. This used to be tied to the HTML attributes panel, to where if I put an HTML attributes panel down here, this is where my props panel would be. And that was annoying me for a very, very long time. And I was like, no, because my HTML attributes, I rarely need them. I want that mostly collapsed, right? So if I go here, you're gonna see that we have, I believe we put it here. Yeah, component properties right here, okay? Component properties. So that is independent now from the HTML attributes panel. See, this is the HTML attributes panel right now, or right here. So they can be in two different locations now. And guess what? This actually, I love over here, a long structure panel. When you are on a complex page, you need a lot of structure panel real estate. So what I like to do now, because we also have in the latest 2 updates, memory on this panel height. Look at this. If I want this all the way up here and I hit save, and then I refresh my builder, and I select that element, look what's still here. Now, what if I prefer to minimize? Look at that. Look at this. I want that panel there. I don't want to turn it off, but I also don't want to see it very much. I don't want to see it all that much. So I hide it down here. I hit save. And now every time I come into the builder, that panel's just chilling down there, kind of like minimized, kind of just waiting for when I need it. It's not in my way. I have full real estate for my structure panel now. This is fantastic. But the problem with doing that was anytime I hit a component, my component props were hidden down there too. And then I was like, no. We have to divide these things up. These things have to be different panels. So now look, when I interact with a component, I get a full component props panel over here. And that's where I want it, because that's the only time I want a left sidebar. When I click over and I'm doing my normal work, I don't want a left sidebar. I want that real estate for my canvas. The only time I want a left sidebar is when I click on a component and I'm filling out component props. You understand? This is the modularity of Etch. Now, that's not everybody's preference. Somebody might have a different preference from me, and that's perfectly fine. You can tailor Etch to your individual preference. This is my preference, okay? But Etch now gives me the flexibility to do that. Let's go ahead and get back to what we were talking about. We got to circle back around, right? So I was saying, we know that we can just come in here and quickly insert a component with this plus, but what you could not do, that you really need to be able to do, is recall patterns, save patterns and recall patterns, just normal patterns, not components, just a hero section, a feature section, a whatever section. I just need to recall a pattern. I want to save it. I want to recall it. You had no pathway for that. Now, the bad news is you still have no pathway for that as of right now, as of this particular moment in time. But the Command K bar does give us a pathway for that. And that pathway will likely exist next week. Next week, very likely, that we're going to have that. It's not a promise, but it's very, very likely. Which means, by the way, and this is why I love this so much, and this is why I told Jeremy, I was like, okay, we're going to take your holiday project and we are going to elevate it to a top priority in this next 2 sprints, right? We're going to get this thing into production ready mode and we're going to get it out the door, because not only do I not, we had a whole Figma file for a drawer related to this area. Where are we going to store more elements? Where are third-party providers going to put their elements? We got to build a whole drawer situation here. And then when people want to take this and put it on the left or the right, how's that drawer going to adapt to that? And man, that's a lot of questions. That's a lot of technical stuff that we got to work out. But with the Command K bar, we can actually build a pathway where we don't have to worry about any of that stuff. When you're saving and importing patterns and you need a pattern library, oh gosh, now we need, what do we do? A modal? Do we do a giant drawer? Do we put it in a panel? Do we do thumbnails? What do we do? What do we do? Man, that's a lot of questions. Man, that's a lot of stuff that has to be figured out, designed, solved for. But Command K just kind of gives you a pathway in the meantime, so that we don't have to say, no, you can't do that. You say you Command K it. You Command K it for right now. Big, beautiful template library, whatever, coming in the future at some point in time. But at least right now you have a pathway. So you don't have a pathway, but with Command K, you have a pathway. So this is where I started to get, and I started to realize some other things that I'm going to show you with Command K and Command I and Command M. And I was like, man, this is okay. This gives us a lot of wins. It gives us a lot of wins, and in a very short amount of time. And so it has to be done. So I went from, I'm not sold on a Command K bar situation, to we need to do that now. We need to prioritize that now before V1. Let's get it out the door. Let's put these pathways in here, because it's too useful. It's too useful. Okay. And when something is too useful, it should be shipped. Okay. So let's take a look at the Command K bar. Now, there are 3 modes to the Command K bar. I'm going to hit Command K and you're going to see mode number 1, which is action mode. So Command K will bring up, now I can hit tab and go to navigate. I can hit tab and go to insert. Those are the 3 modes. I have action mode, navigate mode, and insert mode. And yes, I can tab through them. Look, okay, very clean. But tabbing, as I'm sure you know, is not fantastic, okay? It's like, if I need to tab, okay, I'll tab. But what if, can I just not need to tab? How about that? Like, what if I wanted to just go straight to insert mode? I know I want to insert something. I don't want to Command K, tab to insert, then insert something. I just want to insert, right? So I can do Command I. Command I gives me insert mode, just like that, okay? Like waving a magic wand. Hey, let's insert something. Now, of course, you get all of your typical things that you're going to see down here. And very soon, there's a little detail here. This is not like in its final form, okay? This is V1 of this, right? But this is going to say more items, okay? But there is a very powerful search feature. And I'm just going to show you a quick example, okay? I taught everybody in PB 101 very recently how to build a block quote. How to build a block quote with attribution. So what do you need? You need a figure tag. You need a block quote tag. You need a paragraph inside your block quote. Outside of your block quote, you need a fig caption with a name in a span so you can style it, and then a cite tag for the citation. That is a block quote with attribution. Not hard to whip up. I could whip it up in about 9 seconds, okay? Just div. Okay. But I really know what I'm doing. I really know how to do it. I know how to work it, okay? Not everybody's there yet. And even though I know how to do it, and maybe it would take 9 seconds, maybe 9 seconds is an exaggeration, maybe 19 seconds, maybe I don't want to spend that 19 seconds. So if I have my container selected, I can Command I, type block quote, and I see I have 2 options actually. And so let's do block quote with attribution. Bim, bing, bam, done. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, I just saved the 19 seconds. And it's not pre-styled for you. Let's understand this. It's not pre-styled for you. This figure has no class on it, no selector. The styling in this case is coming from Automatic CSS, which has automatic block quote styling. It's all configurable, okay? You can go to automatic CSS right here. You can go in additional styling, block quotes. You have an entire panel of how you want this thing to look and feel, okay? But at least it gives you something really good out of the gate. But what I didn't have to do is I didn't have to build the block quote. Understand? Okay. Now you want one-off things, Command I mean, you can get any of these one-off things here. You want an image, an iframe, an SVG, a loop, a condition, all the things you have access to down here. But it does give you access to more. You know, I've explained, there's no nav down here. There's no header. There's no list. There's a lot of, not a lot of things. And it's not because they're hard to build, right? Or hard for us to add. It's because anybody knowing what they're doing is it's not hard to whip up a list. Like I'm going to show you one methodology right here. Div, okay? Here you go, list. I bring this in and I say item. Look, I don't even need to know what the tags are. Right click, convert to list. But still, I mean, that was like add a box, put another box inside another box, do a right click, and then take an action, right? Well, I mean, you gotta understand, there's no easier way to build a list in any other page builder. But I mean, what if you could just do list and say, I want a list, thank you. All right, there's your list right there. Oh, I want an ordered list, okay, list. There's an ordered list, bam, OL, LI, UL, LI. What you want from me? It doesn't get any faster than this. Command I want an image, right? Bam, I get a figure and an image. It's fantastic, right? Did you realize this? You go image, you know, it auto wraps it, and you're like, I don't want that figure. How about I just remove the figure? Right click, remove figure. It's contextual. You know, the right click menu is contextual to what you're trying to do. If you got a naked image, you got an image with you got an orphan image, you got an image with no parent, just wandering around life with no parent, right click, hey, wrap in figure. Now you got a figure. Now it's got its parents back with its parent. You reunited your little orphan image. You're doing good things in the world. We're trying to make this stuff, and I need you to understand too, you got to remember this, right? We talked about building a very powerful visual development environment. Every troll on planet Earth, nobody's going to be able to use that except Kevin. Nobody's going to be able to work in this thing except Kevin. You got to be you got to be a developer. You got to be a this, you got to be a that. Hey, no. Actually, it's just the easiest tool that's ever been devised. It doesn't matter, like, you a beginner? Now you got all the options at your fingertips, right? Yeah, and you want to know what you're doing. You want to learn, right? You don't want to be a clueless heathen just going through life, you know? You want to know what you're doing. But what we're doing is building the fastest possible pathways to doing this stuff, even with regards to things I do all the time that I actually realize I've done this a million times now. Why am I still doing this? You know, you can go to patterns.etchwp.com. You can go to layouts. You can go to a features section, for example. And here's a feature card alpha component. You can grab this. You could come in, you could paste in feature card alpha. That is a full-blown component where I can go, I want the inline icon, or maybe I want an adjacent icon, or maybe I want no icon, or I want a stacked icon. Let's go to stacked, let's do that. Let's say, okay, my feature. But look, I mean, this has classes on it. It's got styling on it. It's got props. It's got logic. It's got a lot of things going on. What if I just want an icon card from scratch? In my mind, I got to build some special kind of icon card, but I don't want to put, div again, icon again, heading again, text again, same song and dance that I've always done, right? What if I just do Command I card and I go, okay, I got a media card, I got an icon card. Why don't we just click icon card? There one is. It just magically appears. And you see, it's got no selectors. It's got no default styling. It's got no opinions. It's just the structure. Just here's your structure. Now you take it from there. Because no, we don't like doing this same structure for the next 10 years. You know what I'm saying? Like, we just want to insert the thing. You go here, oh, card, media card, thank you. Okay, let's drop it in there. So now I have a media card. There's a media wrapper and media and a content wrapper and a heading and a description. Just a starting point. These are all pathways from Command K. These are Command K pathways, opportunities that we now have in our life, right? This is the insert panel. This is very, I mean, let's start. You could do an aside, an article, audio, address, text area, details, abbreviations, videos, buttons. For all of you who are like, oh, come on, Kevin, just, I know you're trying to not add more icons, but please just give me a button icon. I know I don't use buttons that often, and I know it's so easy to turn a link into a button or a text into a button or a whatever, but can I just have no, you can't have the button icon, but you know what you can have? You can have button via Command K. And there's your button right there, okay? We don't have to litter the interface with icons and elements, okay? You don't have to have, let me take you back here. You don't have to have this nightmare that every page builder looks like this. They just give you this whole panel. Oh my God, it's 8,000 elements. They actually brag about it. You know they do that? They brag about it. We got 8 million elements. we got more elements than you know what to do with. Okay, and you're always scrolling up and down in here. Where's that thing? Where's that thing? And then they had to build searches in here for you. But remember the problem with this. You know, you have a structure panel right here. They still haven't figured out that it's not a smart idea to cover up the structure panel with the elements you're trying to fucking add to the structure panel. Unbelievable stuff here. Unbelievable UX decisions. You know, from the people at the top. We don't have to do this anymore. This game that every page builder interface plays. You remember this. They thought you were gonna go, oh, this is cute. This is cute. They thought you were gonna be dragging and dropping these things. The slowest possible way to add things to a canvas, that was the goal. Well, we gotta give them a big panel, Jim, because they won't be able to drag and drop out of there, Jim. No. This is ridiculous. This is era 2, era 3 nonsense. No studying of UX, no real world use case scenarios of how people actually work in the world. You know, to be able to just go click and then add like, hey, bang, 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 like add, just pop things in. I don't need, why am I dragging and dropping? This isn't a game show. I'm not trying to win money. What are we doing here, right? I'm just trying to get stuff on my canvas. Why are we playing games with it? Bang. Let me add something straight from here, okay? Easy stuff, okay? This is not, it takes people who aren't just building software for other people, but people actually use their own software. People actually build websites day in and day out. Okay, so that is Command I for insert. Now, what else can we do? Well, remember, we can go Command K, which gets us right to the action bar, okay? I can save, I can open the Styles Manager, I can go to the Content Hub, I can go to the Template Manager. So let's say I went K, started typing template, I'm in the Templates Manager. For those of you who just love keyboards, right? Not having to click around all the time, not having to, which one is it again? You know, Command K, template, I'm in the Template Manager, just like this. It's just gonna take a little bit of muscle memory to know exactly, okay, I hit Command K, I'm gonna be in Actions, I type template, I'm at the Template Manager, it is what it is, right? Styles Manager, I'm in the Styles Manager. You know, I can go, I hit Command T for new tab, right? I can go from the Styles Manager to the Template Manager because the Command K bar still works while I'm in here. So you wanna go back to the Styles Manager, go back to the Styles Manager. So there's a lot of navigational functionality here, but I do want to make an important point that this is the like V001 of actions. Okay, so this actions menu is about to get way more powerful. And then let's go to the navigate. Okay, you have pages, you have posts, you have services. It has auto detection. This is a custom post type. Auto detection of custom post types. And then you could jump to any service, any post, any page, any template. Now, let me explain another aspect of this that you're not going to see right off the bat because it doesn't exist yet. But this is the ultimate goal. I go Command K. Guess what? I say home. Now, I have no result for home. But imagine I had a home page, I had a home hero pattern, I had a home something component, I had a whatever, whatnot with home in the name. Very soon, this search is going to work across every area. So if I type home, it's going to say, here's your components with home, here's your pages with home, here's your posts with home, here's your templates with home. So I don't actually have to go in and go like to a page, like navigate and then pages and then find home. Don't have to do all that. You literally just put in a word and it says, here's all the results across all the areas of your site. Which one do you need or want? And if it's the component, it'll just insert it. It'll do the action of inserting. If it's a page, it'll navigate to it, right? If it's a pattern, it'll insert it. It knows what you're trying to do. So that's going to be very, very useful. So this is a big, big, big new enhancement, obviously, to workflow in Etch. We are trying to make it, like I explained, there's other Command K bars that are kind of meh. It's like, all right, that's nice. I mean, it's there, right? Sometimes I'll use it, sometimes I won't use it. We want to make it so good that you're like always, you're like, I'm like, this thing had to exist, you know? Like this is an absolute, changes the game for how I am doing my development process, my navigating process within my code base, my content management, my everything, okay? All right, so yeah. I mean, it's very, very useful. Okay, let's catch up with the chat before we get into the rest of this. Can we add things ourselves to the Command K menu? Can we switch the shortcut? Command M hides my active application. Yeah, so there is going to be an API for registering things to Command K. If you wanted to register your own preset little, like I showed you an icon card and a media card, for example, you'd probably be able to register your own versions of those things. You would be able to perhaps register actions that you want to take. Third-party providers could register actions. Like, for example, you insert I want to insert a form, a WS form, you know? I type in WS form, it gives me my options for my forms. I click boom, and there's a WS form right there on the page. And then I want to edit that form, right? I can navigate to the edit mode of that form. Just like that, right? Yes, all of these things are planned and should be possible. Okay. All right, so let's just review. Command K gives you the action bar. Command M gives you the navigate bar. You can see them right up here. Can I zoom in? You can see the shortcuts right up here. Command I gives you the insert bar. By the way, you can Command M while you're here, or Command K while you're here, or Command I while you're here. You can also just hit Tab and go from one to the other. There are, as is true with everything else in Etch, we want to provide multiple pathways to doing the same thing because some people prefer certain pathways and other people prefer other pathways. So you give people 3 different pathways to accomplish something, good chance that everybody's going to be happy, all right? And it doesn't come at any cost. It doesn't come at any cost to allow tabbing here. It doesn't come at any cost to allow keyboard shortcuts. It doesn't come at any cost to allow clicking. You can click them if you're a clicker kind of person, you know? So a lot of flexibility here, a lot of flexibility. All right, let's get on to the next thing. Do you have any questions about Command K? Before we move on, we'll get on to the next thing. The Hunzi is on top of it. Let's get the likes in, my friends. Let's get the likes in. Can I insert a menu with all the JS and HTML attributes? That's the point where you would want to go with a pattern or a component. A menu is going to be a component, okay? Like I showed the flex nav, for example. You would want to, by the way, you can insert, look at this, look at this, look at this. Profile card, section intro, okay? Command I, section intro. Right now you can't, it won't search into components, but I can go to components and they're all right there. But remember when I said the search will be flexible across all the different categories? That's where this will become really powerful. But I can insert a section intro component from right there, okay? And there's all your props. There's all the functionality. But that's recalling a component. The icon card that I added earlier, the media card, those are not components. Those are just little starter patterns that are baked right into Etch. Okay. But see, that would be an example of, okay, let me go Command I, let's drop a section into the page, go Command I, components, and go, did I navigate to component? Okay, so and then go to components, boom, and now I am section intro. And it's that kind of where I had to select components, then hit enter, and then search for the component, and then hit enter. That's what we're eliminating. That's what we're eliminating. When you have cross area search, that's completely eliminated. You just type immediately, you go start typing section intro, and it's gonna say add element section, but then down here it's gonna say components section intro. It's gonna find that too, and then you just go down, 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 enter, boom, and it's on the page, okay? Of course, the more specific you are with your search, it'll find the exact thing that you're looking for as well. Then you won't even have to go, up and down with the arrows. Okay, I think we're good. I think we're going to move on. So now let's look at the next line item, zoom. Ability for third-party plugins to include data into the Mini GUI. ACSS Alpha 7 recommended if you want ACSS. Obviously, that is the first third-party tool to do this, to inject options into the Mini GUI, and you got to see this. You got to see this because it is absolutely fantastic. You guys thought the Mini GUI was good a little while ago. It's just absolutely phenomenal now. So let's go Command I. Let's go icon card. Okay, I want to insert an icon card. Remember, this is an icon card with no selectors, no opinions, no styling, no props, no nothing. It's just the structure for an icon card. At which point I can say create BEM classes, and now I have selectors on them. And now I can start styling. Now check this out. You have margin, padding, and gap. You have your flex directions. The flex directions is just CSS. I hit this, I get my flex directions. That's not automatic CSS, but I want padding. And when I want padding, that's automatic CSS. I gotta have ACSS options as my options because I'm an ACSS user. We're not putting one rim in here, okay? We're not putting 16 pixels in here, you know what I'm saying? We're putting a variable, we're putting tokens in, and I got a lot to choose from, okay? I need my options, right? So I'm gonna go right click on here and check this out. So now I have all of my options. By the way, I'm gonna explain these to you in just a second because these are brand new. But look, it's dividing them up. I've got my base spacing options. I've got my bridge spacing options. I have section spacing options. And then I can have any custom options that I still want. Now there's a little bug where don't mind the swatches that are on the spacing, my friends. Okay, that's not planned to be there. Those swatches will go away soon. A little bit of a bug. The swatches got a little handsy. Okay, they were like, hey, I want to be on the spacing too. And we're like, well, you're not supposed to live there. Swatches are trying to be, they got main character energy. You know what I'm saying? They're not a main character. So they're only supposed to be there on swatches. You can just ignore those for right now. But look what we have. We have live preview just on hover. So I see, before I click something to add it, I know exactly what it's going to do. I know exactly what it's going to do. Okay. But I'll explain one thing that's contextual in a minute. I'm just going to go space M for now. So I got my space M that I wanted. Now what I want is a background color, right? So I'm going to right click, check this out. So I've got all of my colors logged in here. I've got my contextual colors as well, BG light, BG ultra dark. These are non-named colors, right? I've got my neutrals. I've got my primary. But look at this. I've got primary. I've got neutral. Remember these. Contextual are there by default. And I've got base, okay? So let's go to ACSS for a second. First of all, let's choose one. Let's just go to BG Ultra Light right there, okay? By the way, you can star one, and if you star one, watch this. You don't have to ever right click. You can left click, and that's just your default. So like if you want one that's like the same one, you use the same one so many times out of the gate, you can just left click that one and get it. If you want more options, that's when you right click. You don't have to right click though. You can left click. Okay, so you get this. By the way, you want a radius? Now you got a radius. Okay, we're just clicking buttons. That's all we're doing here. But watch this. I'm gonna save my work. I'm gonna go to ACSS. I'm gonna go to palette. And I'm gonna say, you know what? this site needs a secondary color. All right, I'm gonna go in here. Maybe we go into a different hue family altogether. Maybe we choose something like that. It's a very aggressive secondary color, I'll be honest with you, okay? But, you know, I'm gonna refresh the builder. Now, again, these are kind of 1.0-y type things. You gotta understand, like, yeah, we're kicking everybody's ass, I get it, but we still wanna be better than this. Refreshing the builder shouldn't be required. The minute I activate secondary, you know, it should be, if you were wondering right now, Kevin, is secondary just gonna show up for you, like in the colors now? So I have base, I got contextual, I've got neutral, I've got primary. Look at this. There's my secondary options. Well, they weren't there before. Why weren't they there? Well, they weren't turned on in ACSS. ACSS and Etch can communicate together now, okay? Any third-party tool that wants to bake in Mini GUI options can actually intelligently communicate. By the way, to this degree, because what I'm working on now, I just put in a pull request myself. I'm sure they're gonna retool all my shitty code, but I just decided to sit down and get it done to show them, hey, this is what needs to happen next. And that is this, okay? You understand that these options right here are contextual to the element that you have on the page. So if I click image and I say like test image, whatever, I'm gonna get more image options, right? If I hit like heading, for example, and I go, you know, my heading or something, I'm gonna get, oh, at least I already have a my heading class. Let's get that off there. Look, I get text-based options because it's contextual to the element that I've selected. Well, that is properties. But what about values? What about values? See, we should be able to tailor. For example, if I select a section and I go hero section like this, okay? Hero section. When I ask for padding, I should get section spacing options, not all spacing options. ACSS, it's, oh, you got a section selected? Oh, you probably want section spacing then, right? And it would give me section spacing options. If I select a card, it's gonna say, oh, you've got a card selected. You probably want card framework options considering I see the card framework is activated in automatic CSS. Here's some card framework options for you, right? This is how intelligent the Mini GUI is going to get, to where you're never having to like work around it. You're never having to say, I wish it had this flexibility. Or worse, you know, see every single imaginable option when half those things aren't even used in this situation that I find myself in, you know? So we want to build as much intelligence and flexibility and reactivity into this Mini GUI as humanly possible. By the way, you know, before the Mini GUI existed, like this stuff wasn't even imagined as a possibility. Nobody ever even attempted or could even think to do any of this with styling panels, you know? Like we're just, and everybody that uses the Mini GUI confirms. I mean, I get emails every single day. Kevin, I got to admit, I was a little angry with you when you announced the removal of the styling panels, but I can't imagine a world without the Mini GUI now. And I can't imagine ever going back to styling panels. You know, those kind of things are flowing in now. And I said this on the last stream that like, I didn't even realize it was going to get this good. I didn't even realize it was going to be this good. I knew it was going to be good, but I didn't realize it was going to be this good. To where it's just, that entire era is the coffin is like, the nails are going in the coffin right now. There's just no use. We have no use for era 3 anymore. So this is fantastic. Let me show you some interesting things here. So like content width safe. I have all my widths, which this is not just width 70%, my friends, okay? So I'm gonna put this on here. It gives me inline size 100%, max inline size width 70, but this is not width 70%. I'm gonna show you something interesting about this. Look at that. Look at that. Now, some of you don't even know what you're looking at right now. You have no idea what you're looking at right now. But I will tell you, well, let me just show you here. Okay. Oh, well, that seems to be very different behavior. See, 70% is pretty damn useless. Pretty damn useless, right? But ACSS is 70%. Oh, well, that behaves like a normal thing when I get down to mobile. See, 70% says I'm going to be 70% regardless of the situation I find myself in. And that's very undesirable. Let's go back and see what happens to it, right? If I just do a normal 70%, and look at that. Nobody wants this. What are we doing? It never gets full width. It's just not, that's stupid. That's dumb. But now watch this. You put ACSS is 70 on there. Let me do it from here again. Width 70. Look at that. But it's 70% when it needs to be 70%, not when it doesn't need to be 70%. See, there's just little tidbits under the hood that so many people don't even realize are there, don't even realize how much thought is actually put into how this framework works. Then you get, you can build your own framework in 8 minutes. Yeah, good luck with that, my friend. You only find these things, like after probably 100 hours of frameworking, 100 hours of philosophizing about how CSS should work in a framework. That these little things that are just like, oh my God, thank you. Like it just works, actually reveal themselves to be required. You got your normal stuff in there, obviously. Let's go to, obviously, border already gives you your border radius already gives you your radius. All those are from automatic CSS. Box shadows, look at this. These are automatic CSS registered box shadows. Watch this, watch this, watch this. You ready for this? Because in automatic CSS, you can go into box shadows and you could say, I don't want to call that MD or medium or whatever it happens to be. These are actually not even the defaults. So it would normally be M, okay? So I'm going to save that. Let's just go back to whatever our default is. But now some people like to just create a totally custom box shadow. Maybe even call it the primary box shadow for the website. And I'm going to hit save on this. Now again, dumb, I know. Right now I've got to refresh the builder. Okay, let's save here. Let's refresh. And let's come in and let's go back to our box shadows. Look at that. Box shadow primary is now an option. Again, they communicate with each other. Okay, you don't just get the generic options, you get the exact options that you saw when you were back in ACSS configuring things. You never have to get, which box shadow is it? Do I need? You can name them, and those names carry over to the Mini GUI. What else? Let's look in here. There's some other, what are we even doing with our life? Why don't we go, I'm just putting generic names on these things. So I'm gonna go display grid. Look at this, auto grids, all of them. Normal grids, all the options, ratio grids. What if I go grid 2-3, drop another icon card in? Now I got a 2-3 ratio. I right click, I can replace that. What if I want auto grid 2? Now I have an automatically responsive grid. I'm just clicking buttons. I don't know what y'all are doing. I'm just clicking buttons, okay? So that's fun. What else do I have from automatic CSS here? Obviously all your margin spacing stuff. You got your, all this stuff is typical, standard, okay? You got your text colors, yada, yada, yada. If you didn't see this, so watch this. We're gonna go icon card. I'm gonna say, I wanna change the background. Oh, by the way, when you stem out into a nested selector, okay, the Mini GUI resets. So now if I choose a color here, let's say base, for example, and let's say we want white for our text, right? Look at this, right? It's able to write the CSS in this hover now, and it just works. And then I go back up here and I can say, actually up here, instead of, this transparent background that we've got going on, I want to choose base ultralight. So now I've got base ultralight that changes on hover. Wherever I have my cursor, whatever block I'm inside of, the Mini GUI is reacting to that block of code. So it reacts differently. It resets itself when I'm inside a hover. If I'm inside a before and an after, it resets itself. It's looking at the properties that already exist in that block, and then anything I add gets added to that block, right? So it's very, very reactive in that fashion. I can put my default radius on here if I want to. And by the way, if I am in that block and it adds, like I don't want the radius to happen on hover, I want the radius at all times. Well, can I move it? Do I have to copy paste it? What do I do here? No. Just put your cursor in it and nudge it. Just nudge it up a little bit. Just nudge it into the other block. Shift tab brings it back in alignment, right? I can just nudge code around. Okay, very nice, very easy. Now, I want to transition. Now, let me show you something. I go down here, no transition. Why do I not see transition? I want to transition these things. Well, the Mini GUI I told you is intelligent. I mean, it was built by people who are pretty intelligent. You can't put a transition in a hover state. The transition is supposed to go on the normal state. And that tells the hover and the normal how to transition smoothly. So when you're in here, it's not going to offer you a transition because it's not supposed to go here. But when I click into this block, oh, now I have a transition option. And I can right click and I just want my normal ACSS transition. It gives me all the properties I need with the automatic CSS tokens attached. And now I get a nice smooth transition, okay? What if I want to hover on, let's go to translate 1M, okay? And I wanted to add that to the hover, so I'm gonna nudge it in. Look how I get a translation now on hover that's nice and smooth. Oh, it's going too much, okay? 0.5M, and then 0.5M, just a little nudger, just a little bit. How about I multi-cursor select and go 0.25? I just change both of those at the same time, okay? Remember, they told you, let's not forget what they told you. They told you this was gonna be the hardest piece of software to use. They told you that you're gonna have to have 8 college degrees to do this, okay? I don't know. To me, it looks a lot easier than that bullshit they've been whipping up for the last decade and a half, you know? Okay. Sorry, I'm a little salty. Okay. What should we do next? Okay. We did the hover preview in the CSS Mini GUI. We did color swatches for CSS Mini GUI. I think you guys saw that when we opened the Mini GUI. Expose shortcut controls for enabling, disabling edge shortcuts. Okay. New Builder Internal Hover Quick Notes. Ooh, this sounds interesting. Let's say that I want to leave a note on something, okay? Like this image right here. Let's whip up a hero. Okay, let's whip up a hero. We're gonna go main hero. Do I have a main hero in here yet? I don't even know what's on this install. Main, okay, I don't have any main heroes. All right, so let's go main hero. Let's go inner. Let's go with a div for the content wrapper, and let's go with an image on the other side. So this is gonna be our featured image wrapper. This is gonna be our featured image. This is going to be our content wrapper. Inside of our content wrapper, we're gonna go heading, text, and a link. This is gonna be the description or the lead. This is gonna be the CTA. I'm gonna right click, I'm gonna create BEM classes. I'm ready to rock and roll. I'm gonna grab the inner, we're gonna go display grid. I'm just gonna say auto grid 2. I'm gonna go on this flex and then align those things to the center. Let's go ahead and add a content gap. This is my hero section. I'm gonna go change that to an H1. I'm gonna come in here. I don't know what content Bev's got lined up for me. I'm just gonna drop some lorem ipsum in there. I'm gonna come in here with this. I'm gonna say that this is our call to action, and I'm gonna go with button primary. And then on our hero section in general, I'm gonna come in here and I'm just gonna do a base ultra light. I'll choose an image here from the gallery. And actually, this is the, I'm gonna talk to you about the image situation in just a second. Okay, image, just like that, okay. Do I still get the, yes, here we go. Actually, I think I can use this one. Let's use this one. This one's a little bit in limbo right now, okay? Let me go remove figure there. Okay, perfect. This one's, or is this the old one? I don't know if this is the new one or the old one. There was one element, I'll give you a little heads up, that almost made it into this release. It's one you've been asking for. I'm gonna cover it in just a minute. It's very important. It's a mission critical element. This is not it. I'm looking at it now. This is not it. Okay, good. We took it out at the last minute. It'll be in next week. I'm explaining what it's for. Okay, but let me go in here. Oh dear, we got to go get an image. We don't have any images. So I'm going to grab a placeholder image for us. I'm going to give you a little tip. I love choosing vertical images, and I'm going to tell you why in just a second, okay? Let's find a nice vertical image that we can go with that's not boring as sin. Oh, that wide one was really good, but I need a vertical. Okay. What is this? What do we got going on here? What are we doing? Okay, how about the Eiffel Tower? You know, throw in an Eiffel Tower. Let's do this. Let's go swoosh. Let's go here. Let's go here. Let's go 1920. Oh, I actually did the wrong dimension there. Okay, oh, wait, we want to WebP it. WebP. Thank you. Oh, wait, do you guys see that? Oh, I've been explaining this to people. Can I zoom in? Look at this. Hey, WebP is not always better. Look at this. Let's go to JPEG. Oh, wait, that did. Well, it started. Hold on. Oh, maybe it was the resizer. Let's try that again. Okay. I think in this case, though, it's going to be a negligible amount. Let's go to 1920. Let's look. Okay, 241 at JPEG. 241 at JPEG. Go to WebP, 305. That's what I'm saying. It jumped up there. Not always better. Not always better. Now, I don't know why changing it back to JPEG screws it up again. Something with squoosh going on. Okay, let's resize. Let's go 1920. We're going to leave it at JPEG because that was better. We're going to save there. Let's go in and let's bring that in. Okay, this is why I like to choose vertical images by default. It alerts you to possibilities where, oh, that may not work in that situation. And it reminds you that you need to put an aspect ratio control on your image. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to say main hero featured image. And then look at this. I'm going to go with, I'm just going to come in here and I'm going to say, you know what? Let's choose square. Let's make it a square. Let's put a radius on it and let's object fit cover so it doesn't warp itself. Okay. All right. So I have made, is this responsive? Of course it is. Of course it is. Because I chose auto grid. I chose auto grid when I did my grid. So of course it's responsive. That was pretty easy. Now, this is not our final image. I need to put a note on here. I'm going to go data etch note equals. See, nice little data attribute, right? And say, this image is a placeholder. Bev is sending me a new one. She said it'll be in my inbox next week. Add. Bam. Look at this. Little note. Only when I hover. Okay? Just a little note. I see it. Hey, this image is a placeholder. But, and then when I'm not hovering, it's not there. When I click and I need to do something with it, it's not there. Just when I hover, shows me a little note. This is called a quick note. This does not exist on the front end. If I go to the front end, yeah, you see I'm hovering, no note. I inspect my image. I see no data attributes. I see no text. I see no nothing, which is pretty impressive because, you know, a data attribute, you put a data attribute on there, the data attribute's supposed to be on there. You know what I'm saying? Well, not this data. This is a special data attribute. It does not pass to the front end because you don't want your notes. You don't want your developer notes littered all over the internet. You know, we got your back. We got your back. Now you might be thinking, Kevin, I need a long form note. I need a long form note, Kevin. Something I can put in as maybe a block. I need long content for my notes, right? Okay, well, we thought we would have to maybe build an element like that. It actually turns out that I don't think we do, okay? So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna leave that quick note on there. I'm gonna hop over to the community because I just published this in the community, I think. I'm gonna go to freebies and I'm gonna go to dev note and I'm gonna copy that and I'm gonna come over here and inside of my figure, I am going to paste, okay? And there's my dev note right here. And look, it's got a slot and we got to talk about our new slot functionality. A lot of you missed this. You don't realize that slots got massive upgrade. A massive upgrade. There's nothing in that slot, but somehow I have content here. How do I have content here? And it says insert your developer notes. They won't show up on the front end. And all I do, and I can, by the way, I can control Does this show up in Etch only, Etch in Gutenberg, or Gutenberg only? So I can actually, this is client notes too. So let's say I want only a client note. I can go, hey, Gutenberg only, and it's gonna put it right there, okay? Now, if I want Etch only, it's gonna just give it to me in Etch. The client won't see it in Gutenberg. So, if we wanna talk shit about Bev right here, I mean, hopefully she never opens Etch, but right, she won't see it in Gutenberg, that's for sure. And then I can go, those are, you get it. You understand. You understand. If I need to bump this away from this image right here, hey, 1M, 0 on the bottom, bump that note a little bit. Give me a little breathing room in the canvas. I don't want my notes stuck to other things. That's not great. Okay. But how do I put notes? Well, I can just throw elements in here. I mean, I can put in here whatever I want. This is my long form note. I can do whatever I want. You know what? I think this note needs an image, okay? And I'm gonna drop an image in my note. And I'm just gonna come in here and I'll put some terrible picture of Bev or something, okay? For right now, I'll just put a Twitter bird. And there we go. I can literally put whatever I want in my note. And let's go, oh, there's no note. There's no note on the front end. Look at that, okay? I mean, anybody could have done this. I just built this with, I built this the way anybody could build a component. Let's look at how it's constructed. We're gonna go right click, edit component. So it starts out with a condition. The condition says, if the user is logged in, that's a critical thing, right? If the user is logged in and props.show is true, okay? If we go over here, we're gonna see this is props.show, little visibility switch. So what this allows me to do, by the way, I can have all these notes in here that are Etch only and also go, I don't wanna see that one right now. I don't wanna see that one right now. So I can see it in the structure panel, but I can just toggle it on and off as well. But let's go in here, edit component, look at dev note. Then it's got a slot that I defined called note content. Then it's got another condition that says, hey, if slots.note content is empty, then let's show this default content. This is that default content that you saw when nothing was in the slot. But the minute I put something in the slot, this default content evacuates and whatever I've put in the slot actually shows up, okay? And everything works the way it's supposed to work. So, not a crazy, how did I do all the showing and hiding and stuff? I did the display, props.display. Here are the options. I passed that as a data attribute. And then what I did is I made the display a token. And then down here, I said, hey, if that data attribute equals Etch only and Etch builder block is attached to it, that makes it an Etch block, right? Let's do display flex. Let's show it, right? If that data displays Gutenberg only and it's a WP block, let's display it. If the data displays Etch and Gutenberg and it's a WP block or an Etch builder block, let's display it. And then I used a pseudo element to put in the before that is developer note so that you don't have to add those yourself. And then I put in some styling that is not ACSS specific. So now you have quick notes, which are hover notes. So you can put quick notes on things, okay? Data Etch note equals rewrite this shitty headline, okay? Bam, there you go. Rewrite this shitty headline. Look at that, look at that. All right? So the next person that comes along behind you can find all your little Easter egg notes to them, your little love notes, right? Okay. Is dev note an Etch native thing? No. It's a component I built and you can just copy paste it in and have fun with it. Okay. You got to watch this one. Nick, you got to watch this one. Okay. A lot's evolved. A lot's changed. A lot has changed. Okay. This one deserves to be, you should start sharing this thing. You should start, you got to find all the people who are asleep at the wheel. There's a lot of people asleep at the wheel. And, some of them, you just nudge them a little bit. Hey, you should check this thing out over here. And they'll respond to that. Some people, you might have to grab them by the back of the head, direct their face, okay? This depends on the person, I guess. But there's, the people that are asleep at the wheel, you got to let them know. And I just got to tell you, what's coming next month? Next month, the month after that, let's just say the next 2 months are going to be, this is going to get wild, absolutely wild. What you're going to see happening in Etch. By the way, all this stuff that I'm just playing around with and whipping up, just to constantly remind everybody, is being authored to Gutenberg blocks automatically on the back end. You know, and it's all editable. It's all editable. Here's the new headline. It's not shitty anymore. Save. Did you guys see, by the way, while I was writing that, how it was constantly balancing itself? It was like, no, I'm not going to let you have an orphan. No, I'm not going to let you have an orphan, right? That's automatic CSS. That's heading balancing. It does it on text paragraphs too. Text wrap pretty. You might look at that button right there and go, you know, that button has text that's not accessible. Let's take a look at what might be happening. Buttons and links. Let's go to buttons, primary. Oh, there's the problem. Let's reset that. Let's go here. Let's reset that. Let's save. We don't need that anymore. We're good to go. Okay. And then we can refresh. All my buttons are behaving now. Okay. Imagine that across the entire website. Okay. Let's go back to our change log. Was there anything else that we need to look at from this one? I do want to show you the props thing from last update. Let's go to etchwp.com/changelog. Okay, so we did all of these things, I believe. Fix ensure a new style resets the history state, ensure images and metabox custom tables return proper values. Let's go see what happened in beta 12. Okay, so highlights of this release include scrolling selected below. Oh, yeah. Okay, this was just a nice little helper. UX kind of thing. Okay, let me grab this note. I don't want to see this note right now. Let's go ahead and just hide that. Okay, so let's say I got a lot of sections on the page. Man, I got a long page, right? And I'm in my structure panel looking around and I'm like, this is the image I'm looking for. Bam, it's gonna scroll me on the canvas right there. I know that's not like earth-shattering feature functionality, but it didn't exist before and now it exists. And it's very helpful, okay? And I think very soon it's gonna work in reverse. So if I select something on the canvas, it will probably scroll my structure to that point as well. But baby steps, you know, we do one thing at a time. Hey, here's this. Does it work? Okay, good. All right, we'll give you the next thing. Does it work? Okay, good. That's kind of how we do develop. Okay, so let's see here. Yeah, Nick, you're gonna have to go back and watch. This is the kind of stuff you want to see. Okay, let's go back to changelog. Improvement several UX for the structure panel. Okay, better handling for copy paste shortcuts, more complete logic for individual pane resizing. Yeah, we did all that. I showed you that. Okay, good. Let's go to the next one. So let's go beta 11. See if we missed anything important in beta 11. That was just a quick one. Ooh, beta 10. Let's check out beta 10. Okay. Ability to alter behavior depending on whether slots are defined. Okay, let's look at this. So this came out 3 releases ago. Let's go back to edit with Etch. Okay. Let's make sure we only have one instance of our builder open. All right, we don't need this anymore. We don't need our Eiffel Tower anymore. I can get rid of that change log. Okay, here we are. We're back. Let's do that. Let's save. Okay, fantastic. All right, so let's talk about slots. And in fact, I'll just kill my hero. So one, I want to explain slots because a lot of people still are trying to understand. They're trying to wrap their head around what is a slot exactly? What is a slot? You know what? Why don't we build a header to explain this? I think that's a very good use case for a header. Let's go to our index template and let's kill our header. And let's leave that. Okay, let's save. So I'm going to create a header component and I'm going to show you what it's like to nest a component in another component. I guess first I should make a button component. So let's do a link on the page and let's just say button component, okay? Button component. And I'll call it button component. I'm going to right click, create a component, button component. You're going to need, for something simple like this, 2 props, bang, bang. And you're going to say label, and you're going to say destination. Now you can call these whatever you want. And I always feel like, you know, when I try to learn things, I hate it when, like, I'm trying to learn JavaScript or something and they call something, and I'm always like, do you have to call it that? Or like, do I get to choose, you know? Because there's situations where you get to choose and situations where you got to call it that because that's the syntax. And for some reason, people never stop to explain that. These props are completely up to you. These are like classes. You can name them whatever you want to, okay? So label destination, label link, label URL, label whatever's clear to you, okay? It doesn't really matter. Label, link, whatever. Now I can map these by clicking the little target sign. I can't map the link because there's, you know, a link doesn't actually exist on the canvas, but I can go down here and I can paste it in. Props.link in the destination. It is nice to have code access for certain things. Okay, so now I've created a button component where I can save this, I can exit, and I now have this thing called a button component. I can also very easily whip up something like select and say style. And I could say something like, we're riffing right here, right? We're just throwing shit out there, okay? There's a lot of ways to do this, by the way. So I'm gonna say primary outline, or actually I'll just say primary. Let's just do it a different, I can do it. There's multiple ways to do it, so let's just do it this way. Let's do primary or neutral, okay? And then what I can do is I can say button primary, and I could say button neutral. So these are the classes that I'm gonna add essentially when we choose one of these options. But I'm also gonna go in here and create a Boolean and say is outline, right? So this is a yes or no. This doesn't, it applies to any style. It's just, is the thing an outline button or is it not an outline button? So that's a perfect use case for a Boolean, all right? So what I do now is I go to my button component and I go class equals. And this is why it's really nice to have an attribute bar where you can add any attributes that you want. You're not limited to classes. You can use dynamic data here, whatever you want to do, right? So I could say props.style, okay? And I can add that. And then we're gonna hit save. So I have, I think I mistyped that. Let's see, props.a class. Yes, I did, okay? Props.style. All right, so you see it turns into a button, right? And then I can exit. And now, immediately, I just like that. All I'm doing is toggling the classes, just like that, right? And if you're still not sure what the hell just happened, all it's doing is inserting one of these into that class box. Now, I say is outline. I can actually do this one of 2 different ways. You would probably use like maybe a data attribute for this, and then you might reference the mix-in somehow. You might do this in automatic CSS. I'm trying to think through it now of whether this is actually the best way to do it. The most straightforward way, let's try it this way. Primary outline would be button primary, button outline, like this, okay? Let me zoom in. You put a space between the colon. This is the syntax. This is the value. And even a string like this is gonna come out as the value, and you're doing 1 per line. That's kind of all you have to remember, right? So let's save. I think this is probably the best way to do it, okay? There's your outline button right there, which means if I wanted Bev to have neutral, let's do button neutral, and then neutral outline. As another option, save, okay, exit, and now, and this is one of those like friendly components. I did something wrong there, hold on. Let's go to edit component, button outline. If you don't put a space, you gotta get out of the habit, right? I have a habit of stringing those together. You gotta have a space between them. Hold on, what's going on? What's going on? Let's go back here. Button, neutral, button primary, button outline, neutral, out. Well, first of all, it's outline. Now we need outline. Primary, button, outline, button, neutral. I think we should be good, unless there's something wrong that I'm not seeing. Yeah, there must be. Or, oh, no, okay. Well, when you fix it, you have to, it's still gonna have the old value in it, right? It's not gonna have the new value till you actually choose the new value. That makes sense. Okay, so now it's working. You would only see this as a actual, like it has to be on a dark background, right? So the primary outline would work on a light background, or the primary would work on a light background. But now we have our button component, and we have a link right here that says, you know, Google, home, whatever. And let's say call to action, that's going to be our label. So we have a nice little button component there. I'm going to create a header, and I want the structure. So there's my header right there. Using what? Using Command I. Command I, header. I have element where I just get a header element, or I get the structure that I need, which has, if we look inside of it, a container, a logo, and a navigation wrapper, right? Okay. So now what we're going to do is we're just going to replace, we're going to take away that navigation wrapper, and we're going to drop our button component in there. Now I'm going to say right click, create BIM. I'm going to take that container. I'm going to say, hey, you need to be flex row, probably align everything to the center, and probably space everything between. So this is going to put the logo on the left. It's going to put the button on the right. Do I have a logo file in here? Why, yes, I do. I can come in here. I can say, let's go down to, what do I want as my options? I actually want a static option. I'm going to choose width 10, but then I'm just going to replace this with like, I don't know, 200 pixels or something. You know what? I don't want pixels. I want rem. So let's do 2 rem, 200 pixels. That'll convert it to rem on the front end, and then it's nice and accessible. So when people zoom in and out with their browser, my logo gets bigger and smaller as they zoom. All right? Just like that. Very easy. Okay. So next thing I want to do is make this a component, because I want to show you nested components and the problem with nested components, right? So I'm going to create a component. We're going to call this header, and I'm going to hit save. And I'm also going to talk about what's coming probably next week. I can't make any promises, but probably next week. All right, exit. So I have my header component. It's nice. Like I can move this around. All right. I can put it on other templates. Yeah, but I can't edit that button. Why can't I edit that button? Well, in order to edit that button, you would need to expose its props to the parent, or you would need to use a slot. Now, a slot is essentially a drop zone. So I'm going to come in here and I'm going to remove my button component, and where that button component was, I'm going to put a slot. So I'm going to come down here and I'm going to click on this little button right here where it says add slot, and I'm going to right click it, and I'm going to name my slot button or buttons. It's just for buttons, whatever. Let's just name it buttons, okay? Now, if I save and I exit, my header is going to have a slot called buttons. And now in that slot, I can come in and I can insert my button component, okay? And it looks like I put my slot in the wrong place. Yeah, I did. I didn't put it in the container. If we put the slot is kind of like an element. You can drag it around. It's not a real element. It's not actually an element. But its placement works like a block, right? So I can save, I can exit, and now my button is over there where it was before. But look at this. I now have access to my button. So I can actually click on my button. Now, the problem with slots is if I deploy multiple instances of these things, okay? So before the header was created, for example, or actually maybe just it'll do it here. Let's go to create a single blog post. It's going to automatically have the header by default because it pulls it from the index. But what if I Command I and I go to components and I go to header and I add my header component? It's not going to have the button because a slot is a drop zone. It is not a default content zone. However, we added the ability for it to have default content, which slots don't normally have, right? Okay, so let's go to here. Let's edit component. I can edit it from anywhere. Right after my slot, okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to insert my button component again. And this is going to be my default, okay? And I can actually you can label it, even though it's a component with a name, you can still put a label next to the name. So I'll put default here. And we'll say default button with a link to pricing or something, right? And because you're saying essentially, hey, if people don't put a button here, there needs to be a button to the pricing page here. Okay, now if they want to change the button, they can change the button. But by default, if they don't do anything with this header, there needs to be a link to the pricing page, right? Okay, and now we can all say that we know that this is a default button, so we're going to say it's pricing, right? Okay, and I want it to be the primary style. Maybe I want it to be the outline style. How about that? Let's just change it. Now what I do is this. I right click and I say wrap in condition. Or I command I, or is it A? Yeah, I think it's action. Condition. 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 No, I think it's let's see, command I. It's a command I. See, gotta learn, it's brand new, okay? And I think if I hit it here, it will add a condition. So you don't get the wrap necessarily. We can work on that. Maybe we can add that. But if I right click here, I can wrap it in the condition. And my condition is very simple. Slots, I'm checking for slots. If slots.buttons, the name of my slot, is empty. If slots.button empty, I wanna show this button right here, all right? And then I'm gonna hit save, and then I'm gonna exit, okay? Slot.buttons is empty, so I see a pricing button. And I'm gonna see that now on every header. Let's go ahead and delete that header. And let's go ahead and let's go to our slot right here. Let's command I, let's go to components, let's insert our button component, okay? And can I insert it? Can I insert it? Oh, wait. I deleted my entire header. Let's not do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. Components, header. There's our header. Oh yeah, because I was gonna show you it shows up by default. I don't even know what I'm doing anymore. Okay, so there's my header with an empty slot, but somehow, some way, a button, right? Now, what if I'm on this particular template and I'm like, I wanna switch that button out, okay? That's okay. I'm gonna go to my slot, command I, components, button component, and the minute I put a real one in there, it goes, oh, you don't want the default anymore. Here's your new one. And I can click on it because it's a slot. I can access it and I can say completely custom button goes here. Okay, custom, and this one's neutral. All right. Now in this particular instance of the header, I have a completely different button. So this is just an added flexibility. And this is how you should right now handle nested components. Now here's the thing. Next week, I can't make any promises, but I think next week, you're also gonna be able to do it this way. If you prefer to do it this way, and depending on the situation, I'm gonna delete the slot. I'm gonna take this button and put it in there. I'm gonna delete the condition. Isn't that nice that those things are blocks? Oh, I don't want the condition anymore. Drag the thing out of it, delete the condition. Drag the, I don't want the slot anymore. Drag the thing out of it, delete the slot, whatever, okay? You don't have to like let me go to the settings. I'll find conditions. I'll find, no. It's all right here. Okay, so I've got my button in there as a nested component. Remember what happens when you have a nested component, a truly nested component. You can't click on it. You can't see any props. Here's what you're gonna be able to do. You're gonna be able to go to it and there's gonna be little toggles or something or other. I haven't actually seen the mock-up yet, but I know it's very close to being done. And then I'm gonna check the mock-up, make sure that it's, good to go. But you're gonna be able to opt in any attribute and say, hey, map that to the parent. Map this one to the parent. Map this one to the parent. That way, imagine these three things right here show up on your header right here saying, hey, by the way, there's a nested component in here. Here are the props that were exposed for that nested component. And you could just edit them right here and no need for a slot, right? Now, slots are very important. They're mission critical. You need them for lots and lots and lots of things. But for a very simple scenario like this, maybe you don't need a slot. Maybe you don't need a slot, okay? Depends on the flexibility you want to bake in as the developer of the site, as the developer of the project and the page. Again, multiple pathways to accomplishing the same things. And some have pros and cons that others have a different set of pros and cons. And you decide, okay, for this situation right here, we're gonna go with the slot. Or, okay, for this situation right here, we're just gonna expose the props to the parent. You have either option at your disposal. Somebody said, why isn't the cursor not changing on the button? It is on the front end, see? So that's all good. That hover on, what is this, primary outline, hover text. So let's go to buttons, let's go to primary, let's go to outline, text color, hover. Oh, maybe that's not, yeah, that's what we want. Let's save. Okay. And now All my primary outline buttons are fixed just like that. Okay. So let's see. By the way, remember when this stuff was in a slot and all that? You could check the DOM. There's no wrappers for the slot. Slot does not produce any wrappers. Just like conditions don't produce wrappers. Components don't produce wrappers. You get clean HTML in all capacities. Okay. We can look at, just to give you an idea of how involved components can actually get, how much power they actually have. Let's go to patterns again. Let's go to layouts. Let's go to interactive. Let's just look at something very simple like this, okay? I created, and this was a while back. It was like the first one I created. A little greeter component, okay? Let's copy this code. Let's go. You would put this probably in one of your templates, maybe your index template, if you want to greet somebody on every single page, right? You would come into the main, perhaps, or maybe you have a footer that you want to put this in. Doesn't really matter. I'll put it in main, okay? And I'm just going to hit Command V, and I'm going to paste it. And look what I get. I get this little greeter, and it's got these things over here, but it does have a slot called greeter content, and it's got some stuff in it. And I can remove that, and I can literally, this is the beauty of a slot. I can put whatever I want. You can put images in here if you want to, okay? So I'm gonna say this, like this, and now look, my shit appears to be breaking, but it's really not. You know why? If I wanted to, I could wrap this in a div. I could put this in here. I could put this in here, and I could say greeter message 1. Okay, heading, text, figure, right click, create BIM. This is like a new canvas that I have available to me, which allows me to come down to this image and go, okay, for greeter message 1 image, I want to go with a 16:9 aspect ratio, do the default radius. I didn't want to reset that, 16:9, and then object fit cover. That's fantastic. And then I'm going to say this, not an H2, yeah, let's do an H2, but I'm gonna change the size of it, okay? So why don't we go in and choose H4 instead of H2, or maybe I want H3 instead of H2, and I'm gonna say, have you ever seen the Eiffel? Oh God, we suddenly find ourselves in a spelling bee. Oh dear, okay, Eiffel Tower. I'm locking that one in. I'm locking it in right there. I feel confident about that. Okay. All right. Click the link below if you haven't, and I'll give you a free ticket. Hey, what a CTA we got going here. Okay. Let's do the figure and let's add a link. Let's go button primary on that one too. Let's grab our greeter message, drop a little gap in there with a flex direction of column. Fantastic. Okay. All right, and then this button right here, I'm gonna say this was greeter message 1 CTA, and then I can come in here with, let's go width of full, bam, okay? I want these to be full width. All right, we're gonna say, claim my tickets. We'll make this as obnoxious with the marketing lingo as possible, right? I should instant ticket access. Okay, let's go ahead and save and go to the front end. And did I do this properly? Save. That would be question number 1. And it's open in builder. Yeah. Oh, by the way, you can hide this in the bot. This was the first one I built. May want to go back and revisit this one. Let's go with a section and footer. And let's just put it in there. I don't know. I don't think. Is this, by the way, this is the single post template. Okay, don't worry. Everything's under control. I'm a professional. Let's copy that. Let's go to index, and we probably want to be here, okay? All right, let's go footer, and there we go. Header at the top, please. Main in the middle, there you go. Okay, save. Let's go back, refresh. Hey, I got a little greeter. Hold on, that's not who's supposed to be greeting you. Let's go into our footer, into our greeter, and let's choose a new person, okay? Unsplash. Oh, actually, you know what? A little creepy Cartoon Child can greet you. Hold on, because I have these from doing the, hold on, I have little creepy people. Let's see, downloads. They were UI generated. I don't know what to tell you, okay? Here we go. Here, we've got an emo. An emo character is gonna give you free tickets. All right, let's go. All right, there's your little emo character greeting you on your page. All right, and you click on it and it goes, hey, have you ever seen the Eiffel Tower? Click the link below. Oh, claim my tickets. Right, so, but that's the power of a slot where the internal workings, this whole area right here is a free drop zone. So I have the whole greeter thing handling all the functionality and all that, but I essentially have a free drop zone where I literally just put whatever I want in there at any time. And different things on different templates, right? Amazing, amazing. And I believe it's accessible as well. You can keyboard navigate to it if you can ever get past the menu. There you go. Okay. I don't know what to tell you guys. I don't know what to tell you guys. Kevin, don't you set up the aspect ratio on the figure tag? It really, no. It really depends on what you're trying to accomplish. But generally speaking, the figure tag is just a wrapper and it should just kind of conform to what you're doing with the image. There are scenarios where you might want to put the aspect ratio on the figure tag, but at that point, you're going to still have to do other things to your image. You're going to have to make sure that they go full width, full height. It'll go full width for you automatically now in Etch, but you'll want to make sure it's full height. It still needs object fit cover on it. So, you know, in some cases, it's easier to just do it at the image level right here, because the figure is just going to conform to whatever the image is doing. Okay. By the way, this is what the point I've been trying to make, where I say, you know, our beta is not like other people's beta. You know, there are people like, you know, they just see 1.0 beta. And I think in their mind, they must go, oh, that's so far away from, you know, being usable. Like, not only is it like usable, it's just already better than everything else. It's like, we could take off the beta label next week if we wanted to. Probably, I would say, if I had to guess, the last Thursday in the 20s, somewhere, it's like 26, 27, somewhere in there. Will probably likely, that's kind of my target, will be 1.0 official. But this is not, I mean, it doesn't feel like beta software. It doesn't act like beta software. It doesn't, it's stable. There's going to be no breaking changes without upgrade pathways, like automatic upgrade pathways. Yeah, it's usable right now. We'll get into questions here. This sharing patterns component ecosystem is super cool. I really like this. Yeah. I mean, it's so, man, I showed the other day, like, people don't realize when you copy paste a component, if it uses a loop with a data source, it's going to bring in that loop configuration and that loop with the component or the pattern that you're importing. So the loop already works out of the box, assuming you have all the data in your database, you know? Oh, my head is blocking the emo kid. No, okay, here you go. There he is. Hey, dude. I don't even know how emo kids talk. I haven't seen an emo kid since like the 90s. They're different now. They're built different these days. Okay. Good morning from Tasmania. Well, good morning to you as well. All right. All right, let's go to questions. Hashtag Q. Where's Alpha 7? Not in my dashboard. It should be. I'll double check on it though. We could even go over what's happened in Alpha 7. I mean, you have. Oh, did I show you guys the block quote, like the auto insert, auto styled block quote situation? Let me go to a page. Oh, let's command M our way to a page. Let's go to the home page. Oh my God, we're on the home page. Just like that. Okay, let's add something here. So if I want a block quote, Command I, block quote. I think did I show this before? So there's your whole structured block quote right there, and it's auto styled by ACSS. I think I showed that before. Let's go look at, but the block quote styling is a very recent thing. By the way, you know, people are always, they're like, well, what if I don't want it to auto style my block? It's like, dude, okay, this is not our first rodeo. Let's go here, save, save. There we go. Automatic CSS, additional styling. Let's get this out front and center for people. We're gonna go to block quotes. So obviously you have control over all the main aspects of your block quote, all the text styling, the footer and caption styling, which somebody requested font family support for this. That is now in there. So font family on every part of it, every part of it. The citation can be styled differently. And then look at this, auto block quote styling on or off, okay? So that's an option. Actually, this is block quote styling in general. Like, do you not want to load any code at all for block quotes? Then turn this off. Do you not want to auto style them? Then turn this off. But look at this. You can even exclude certain selectors. And look at this. There's a default. Like, you want to know the level to which we think about these things, okay? It automatically excludes. Maybe I could demo this. Maybe I could demo this. Let's say I am building a review card, a testimonial card, okay? So I'm going to add a div, and I'm going to say review card, okay? And I want a block quote inside of that review card, all right? And maybe I don't want it to be, well, yeah, I do want it to be a figure. I do want it to be a figure, okay? So here's my review card with a block quote, and maybe, let's go to patterns. I need a pattern. Let's get rid of some of these tabs. Okay, I think we can get rid of this now. Be able to search for components, gradient expansions. Damn, I mean, there's just so much fun stuff. We could be here all day. Let me go to stars. Where's our stars? Didn't I think I put it in here. Maybe it's in, I haven't added search yet, but we'll get there. We'll get there. Where would stars be? Testimonials. Lord have mercy. Here's a star rating. Star rating alpha, copy code. Okay. So we're going to go into our review card and we're going to paste. Okay. Star rating alpha is now in. So now we're going to go right click. We're going to create BEM classes. So now this is a review card. This is a review card figure, all that good stuff. I'm going to say, hey, flex column. Let's go ahead and drop a gap in there. And, okay, so review card. So something was supposed to happen that didn't happen. So let me go look. Let's look at this. The instruction might need a little tweaking. Oh yes, it's probably, let me try one thing. So there's so many combinations to worry about. What if yeah, that's a combination I have to account for. A figure in, okay, but you watch what's happening here. If I take this block quote, look at it. It doesn't look like a block. Now watch this, watch this. I'm going to copy that, just that block quote. I'm going to go paste it outside of the review card. Oh, it looks like a block quote. Why does it look like a block quote outside of the card, but it doesn't look like a block quote inside the card? Probably because you don't, when you're building a review card, you want it to look like however the review card is supposed to look. You don't want this thing looking like just some random block quote, right? So the styling disappears the minute you put it in a card. Look, I'm going to drag this into the card. Styling just disappeared. And that comes from these rules, which, by the way, you can tweak the rules. So even though I fucked up the rule by default, which now I can go fix, you would be able to fix it on your own. So if I go to additional styling and I go to block quotes and I come down, you see this selector. Oh, wait, hold on. Maybe I did. Figure class is, nope. Okay, so there's one scenario it doesn't account for. So if the class contains the word card and there's a block quote inside of it, nix the styling, 86 the styling, right? If there's a figure with a class of card on it, nix the styling. And now we need to add a rule, which is, let's see, it would be class star equals dash card. So any card with a figure that contains a block quote as a direct child. So if it's a class of a card and it's got a figure in it, and that figure has a block quote as a direct child, let me zoom out. Let's go ahead and save. And let's see what happens now. Let's see if we were able to fix it. Let me refresh just to make sure. Let me go in here. Let's get rid of that block quote. Let's do one outside of the card just to start. We want the one with attribution. And now let's drag it into our review card. Still got to tweak it. All right, I'll figure out the selector for it. Let's right click, inspect. Review card has a figure. The figure, the figure is all that matters, I think. The figure is all that matters. Let's go to additional styling, block quotes. I think all we need is the figure. I think that, well, no, it should. Oh, probably has block quote. I wonder if that'll do the trick. Selector school. Okay. All right. That's great. So now refresh the builder. Look at this. Now watch the magic. We take our little figure that we have. This is our quote, right? Take our little quote that we have. Let's drag it out. Oh my God, it looks like a block quote. Oh, it doesn't look like a block quote anymore. I can just style it however I want to style it. Which, by the way, that styling, let's drag it out and look at it. Because you got to cross your T's and dot your I's, my friends. Let's go to this figure right here. Specificity. Look at all this shit happening. Specificity is still 0, 1, 0, which means I can defeat it with a class. Okay? Very easily, I can defeat it with custom styling. What I'll probably do, I think we have to go 0, 1, 0 because of Gutenberg nonsense. I'll try 0, 0, 0 to see. It would probably just be changing this to where. Just put the whole thing. There you go. 0, 0, 0. And it appears to work. I wonder if it works back in Gutenberg land, though. Gutenberg likes to throw things. They throw wrenches in the equation very often. Let's see if we can manipulate this. We're just doing stuff on the fly. We're just having fun. This is the life I live right here. Where, bam, 0, 0, 0. Oh, no, it converted it. What the hell did it do? Stay at 0. It appears to work. Okay, let's do this. Let's do this together. Let's just have fun. Let's go to cursor. Okay, let's do. Okay, we need. Well, we don't want to be an etch. That's for sure. Let's go into ACSS. Let's go. Oh, there's changes. Okay. What are we in? What are we in? What are we in? What are we in? Block quotes, block quotes, block quotes, block quotes. Vars, tokens, output, output selector, vars. Come in. Where? Oh, I hate cursor sometimes. Look at this nonsense. Okay, hold on. Close this. Stop it. It tried to write for me. Did you see that? Stop it, cursor. Dude, this is the thing I hate. AI will never do this in look at this. It like literally won't even allow me. Okay. I'm just gonna. Why are you even doing that? What mode are you in? What mode is this thing in? Undo. Let's close all these. I don't know what's going on. Close all. Cursor is wild right now. Wilding out. Okay. Dude, why are you what are you doing, dude? Okay, it seemed like, why? How did it do that? Why was it doing that? Okay, is. Can I type now? Thank you, my Lord. Okay, save. All right, that's good now. So now there'll be 0, 0, 0. Now let's go and let's see. This doesn't affect our install, but this is what I wanted to check. If we have a review card, let's put our figure in it, and it should create BIM on this block quote and say something like, yeah, okay. So there's already no conflicts. You're still able to kind of style all of this the way that you would want to. Let's make sure it works all the way through to the front end. It does. So there wasn't a conflict in the first place. Like 0, 1, 0 would not be a problem. But if you can do 0, 0, 0 with default styling, you should probably do 0, 0, 0 with default styling. We're gonna cover specificity calculations in selector school in PB 101. So make sure you're sticking around for that. All right, I need to get back to my questions. I don't know what we just did or why we did it, but we're just on the fly. We're just riffing. We're doing whatever we want to do. Where's my chat again? I lost my chat. Okay, comments, reactions, there we are. Let's go down to the bottom. Yeah, it was in FU mode. The changelog, because it's alpha, is only in the community, and you go into the community, announcements, alpha 7, and there's a little changelog right there. They'll be on the website once 4.x official actually comes out. But we got the Etch Mini GUI integration. We got the activity log for production observer. This is internal. Overflow clip added to body default styles. Remove support for Oxygen, Breakdance, Quickly Generate, and WooCommerce builders. Remove load frame styling options. We're doing a ton of cleanup stuff right now, getting it ready for release. Fix auto header footer padding in Bricks because Bricks is a toy and doesn't give you access to headers and footers. Did you know that you cannot style a header or footer in Bricks? They don't give you access to the header and footer. Your only option is to put a wrapper inside that you then style, but you cannot touch the header or the footer. I personally don't use tools where they don't let me touch the things I want to touch. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. All right. Phase 2 of Etch to GB 1:1. I'm not sure. What do you want to see in phase 2? I guess would be the question. All right, let's go. Let's knock these last questions out and get out of here. I mean, we still got a ton of people here. We're having a lot of fun. Does anybody else, just a quick question, little temperature gauge, little temperature check. Does anybody else get on to spend hours with you every week showing you the internal workings of the software that you use and answer your questions and show you things and ask you what you might want to see next and generally have fun with you in life? I don't know. I think that's valuable, right? I think that's pretty valuable. You know, sometimes you buy tools and you never see the people that build them. You never see and never hear from, rarely hear from the people who build them. And I don't know. I get more comfort in knowing that there's access and there's visibility and there's transparency and there's activity in general, I guess would be a good a good term. Question: the different variables in the CSS mini GUI should be grouped as an accordion because if you have a lot of groups, you have to scroll a lot. Not really, because you're typically not scrolling. So for example, if I wanted, M, right? I type M, it's got search right there at the top. I don't know, some people miss that, right? It's got search right there at the top. So if I did grid, and my things here, and I wanted like 3, there's auto 3, there's grid 3, there's 1, 3, 2, 3, and 3, 1. And so now really not much scrolling, you know? And they have categories, but no, you end up getting in that panel inception. Accordions are the problem, not the solution. Generally speaking, you want to do lightning fast things like searches. You know, I already know 3 exists as an option. Like I just need to know where it is in the list. Okay, so I can type 3 and select 1, you know? But if I'm in click, click, click accordion modal land, that's the problem. That's the problem with all these other interfaces. You're always stuck in these stupid accordions and these dumb inception-y panels, right? That's what we need to avoid. I bought an ACSS license transferred. How do I get access to the ACSS circle? If you did the transfer process, you should have already got it, or you can email acss@digitalgravy.co. Oh, yeah. So the second phase of Gutenberg, that's not the 1-to-1 though, because you put 1-to-1 in your initial comment. Phase 2 is not the 1-to-1 render. It has nothing to do with 1-to-1 rendering. Phase 2 is the bridge connector plugin. Phase 2 is you can use things that are built in Etch on non-Etch websites, non-Etch WordPress websites, using the free open source connector plugin. Which means you as a developer can literally sit in your basement and build entire libraries of components and patterns and templates and everything else. And it authors it all to blocks. And then you package it up and you either sell it, that's probably what you should do, or share it if you're, if you just want to do free work for the world. Either one is fine. Either one is fine. And you could sell it or share it to anybody, even people that don't use Etch or have an Etch license, because all they do is they install the free connector plugin and then they import whatever you built and it just works. And then because it's all component based, they're just changing prop values and just directly editing text on the canvas and whatever they want to do, however they want to use the things that you built. That's phase 2. That's phase 2. Etch is if everybody wakes up from their sleep, a lot of people are awake. Okay, we've got thousands of users, thousands of people using Etch. New users coming in. We added 500 users in the first week of Page Building 101. There are a lot of people awake, but relative to the entirety of the WordPress ecosystem, you got to help wake people up, because Etch will save WordPress. Etch will save WordPress. Like the dog shit that you have to deal with in WordPress doesn't exist in Etch. Etch frees you to do your work here, share your work with the world, and never have to worry all that much about what's happening in, the 1997 version of WP admin. That's never going to get any better because their leader is focused on adding semicolons to their mission statement after months and months of deliberation. Etch is the thing that will draw people back to WordPress. There's no reason for Webflow people to use Webflow. They can come straight to WordPress now. They have a tool that's far more powerful than Webflow and is now open source again. Right? Because they're not open source well, Etch isn't open source, right? But WordPress is, their data is liberated out of Webflow. That's a closed black box system. We do have to talk a little bit about, we could go off on so many tangents, but we don't need to do that right now. But it would bring people back from Webflow. It would bring people back from Wix Studio. It would bring people back. Once we have e-commerce functionality, it's already there, but no preset functionality. If you know what you're doing, you can do a WooCommerce site right now. But we're going to make it easier, right? We're going to make it easier for people. But once we fix the WooCommerce disaster, WooCommerce is a disaster. But in Etch, it's not going to be a disaster. In Etch, it's going to be a delight. That's what we do. We take something that is a disaster situation and we try to make it delightful. And this is just going to bring people back to WordPress. And it's going to make people excited about WordPress again. And when our AI implementation, which is going to happen over the next 60 days, you're going to see a transformation. Now, it's not going to be let's just talk about the philosophy, just so everybody's on the same page. If you don't know, if you aren't aware, all of the no-code AI tools are desperately trying to figure out how to give people code access, because they realized that AI without code access is really kind of tragic. You need a lot of tokens. You need a lot of tokens and a lot of patience. A lot of tokens, a lot of patience. If you have code access, much, much, much better. So they're kind of racing to oh my God, I think we kind of need to give people code access. Then there's the pure code AI tools, Claude Code, for example. And they are actually racing to build interfaces so that you can click on things that get built by Claude Code and manipulate them that way, because they realize that a visual interface is kind of valuable. It's kind of valuable, So you've got both sides of the coin racing to the other opposite side of the coin. When we've been sitting here going, wasn't it obvious that you needed both? You needed code access in a visual environment. That wasn't obvious to everybody. So we already have the thing that they're all racing to. And then when the power of, Gemini or whatever model you tend to love these days gets put in here, and Etch speaks the language of web development. It doesn't speak some proprietary JSON-based language. It's you write HTML, Etch will work. You write CSS, Etch will work. You can even write Tailwind and Etch will work. You can do whatever you want. If it's the language of web, it's going to work, right? It's not some proprietary builder. So our AI doesn't have to learn a new language. Our AI can just speak the existing language and use all of the world's documentation on the existing language to do all of the things you could possibly want it or need it to do. And then, of course, interact with the interface as well. Hey, label my structure panel for me. Hey, I need BEM classes on all these things. Hey, I need a custom post type. Put 10 sample posts in it. Actually, you know what? Here's a spreadsheet with all the data. Why don't you just put that in there for me? And it's like, yep, okay. Make sure CPTs, make sure posts, the world's about to change in WordPress. And you're not going to see this shit from Automatic. You're not going to see this stuff coming from pretty much anywhere else. I mean, if you want this experience in WordPress, the Etch is the pathway to having that experience in WordPress. Of course, you don't have to use AI. You can still do everything manually if you want to, but if you want the best possible AI experience, and not the best possible AI experience in WordPress, like let's make sure we understand this. The best possible AI experience, period, for development, just happens to be sitting in WordPress. Which, by the way, I mean, some of you forget. Keep in mind, if the AI writes the HTML and the CSS using BEM, using your automatic CSS variables, and you hit save, you also just authored all that to blocks, because that's just how the architecture works. Then you could even package that up and sell it to somebody, and they can use it even if they don't use Etch. You don't understand? Like it's a new category. It's got me choked up. It's a new category of tool, and there's only one player in the new category, and that's just a very, it's a very fun place to be. Okay, I think we got to get out of here at some point. What time did we start all of this? Can we get Command M website home? Well, you mean like what? Oh, that's where that goes. Command M on this screen over here shrinks the comments and reactions. You mean you want to go to WP admin from here? I mean, yeah, we could put it in. I mean, well, actually, you're right. Because if you do this, you have to go through the block editor first, and then you can go, and then it's constantly trying to tell you you've done something. So yeah. Getting right back. This is where you want to go, right? Dashboard. You want to go to the dashboard? We could probably build that in. Maybe if Jeremy's watching, he can put a note on that. Oh, that's good to hear that Hostinger has come through. That is good to hear. Now 60 days is for the whole, a really solid. I mean, I think you're going to get tastes of it before then. If we can work the way we've worked on other things, I think you'll get a really solid taste before that 60 days. I'm just saying 60 days for it to probably be like a nice smooth, like, okay, we're rocking and rolling, I'm going to do 2 more questions and then we're going to get out of here. So yeah, that phase 2 of the block editor, auto block authoring kind of like compatibility thing is likely coming right after AI. It's one of those bigger pieces. I would think AI is more mission critical. And then we go right into, okay, now all the things AI is doing for you, why don't you just go share those with the entire WordPress ecosystem? By the way, this is we're all on the same page. Again, we got to get on the same page about a lot of things. The entire theme library in WordPress, dead in the water. Done deal. They should just drag it to the trash can right now. The entire block theme library, dead in the water. Just drag it to the trash can right now. That was a fatal mistake they made. It was a fatal I can't believe they made it. I mean, I can believe they made it. The people who care, they spend months on semicolons and mission statements. They're probably not making the best decisions in life. They created the block editor, which essentially is a framework for building anything, even though the UX sucks. And they still went with a theme library that ties the styling and the theme of something to its architecture. And if you switch themes, you lose all your blocks and your templates. What the fuck? Oh, I can't believe it's like, how does this stuff continue to happen? They had an opportunity to standardize it. Like, look what we did. You have to build a theme to hook into the WordPress architecture. But instead of going 2024, 2025 block theme, 2026 block theme, it's just functionality. That's all it is. And then you use a real development environment to build patterns and components and loops and templates and everything else, and you make them shareable with the ecos. Why did we have to come up with it? I mean, I'm glad we did, but like, they tried to go, they thought, they were like, you know what we'll do? We'll stick with the thing of, let's have 1,000 themes to choose from. And when you switch from one block theme to another, you lose all your shit and you got to start over. So that you're essentially locked in, whatever theme you choose. By the way, this is for beginners. This is a beginner platform. This is for everybody. So Bev comes in and she chooses a block theme out of the thousands that are supposedly supposed to be available. And she starts building a bunch of shit. And then she goes, oh, I don't want my site to look like this. I want this other, I like the patterns from this other theme. Let me switch to that. She just nuked her entire site. Whoa, what are they thinking? What are they thinking? I don't know. So that was what a critical error. What a critical error. They had an opportunity to standardize the architecture, to create some semblance of a framework, to create shared styling, standardized styling across the entire system, the ecosystem. They didn't do any of that. They didn't do any of the things that they should have done. And they created, do you understand this? The patterns that you create with block themes, because they don't have CSS that ships with the block, can never have custom styling, can never have BEM, can never be scalable or maintainable. The entire pattern library, the native WordPress, is dead in the water because it doesn't have portable functionality. It's wild. It's wild. So that's why I say Etch is the thing that will save WordPress. WordPress cannot get out of its own way. The leadership, it's just piss poor decision after piss poor decision, being completely out of touch with how work is actually done on the web. And they created a whole new thing called the block editor with a theme ecosystem that breaks everybody's websites. This is not going to save WordPress. And then they're building Telex, which is like some secondary piece of software that I'm pretty sure they want to use for other cases and not just WordPress. I don't know what's going on with that. This is such a disjointed, no foresight, no cohesiveness, no nothing. They're not capable of taking WordPress where it needs to go. But thankfully, WordPress is a tool you can build on top of. And people who actually know how the web works and know how developers work can come in and say, okay, we can build on top of this and give you everything that you've wanted and give you everything that you need. And you don't have to pay attention to those people over here. You don't have to worry about what they're doing. Oh, they haven't updated the WP admin in 17 years? Okay, don't worry about it. You don't have to use it. Oh, the media library still doesn't have the functionality you need? Don't worry. We built a better one for you over here. We actually made blocks work. We made blocks now. They're going to be truly portable, shareable with everybody, with scalability, with maintainability, with proper component functionality. That's how you save a ecosystem that is dying a slow death. So yeah, we got to get out of here. We got to get out of here. If you are friends with anybody, share this with a friend. Friends don't let friends use toy page builders in Era 4. This was not an opportunity before, but now that it's an opportunity, you cannot let your friends go astray, okay? You've got to bring your friends to the light. You've got to rescue them from the situation that they find themselves in. And you got to help us. And you help us by using the software and by reporting bugs and telling us what needs to get better and building real production websites with it. Yeah, and participating. I love you guys. I'm out. I got to go coach softball. All right? Peace. Oh, did my camera go out? Oh, no. What's happened? Okay. All right. Well, that's definitely a good sign that we need to go. See you guys.